Kate is ecstatic. But what was he doing at Clayton's? Her curiosity oozes through the phone. I'm in the depths of the stockroom trying to keep my voice casual. He was in the area. I think that's one huge coincidence, Anna. You don't think he was there to see you? She speculates. My heart lurches at the prospect, but it's a short-lived joy. The dull, disappointing reality is that he was here on business. Oh, he was visiting the farming division of WSU. He's funding some research, I mutter. Oh yes, he's given the department a $2.5 million grant. Wow. How'd you know this? Anna, I'm a journalist and I've written a profile on the guy. It's my job to know this. Okay, Carla Bernstein, keep your hair on. So how do you want these photos? Of course I do. The question is who's gonna do them and where. We could ask him where. He says he's staying in the area. You can contact him? I have his cell phone number. Kate gasps. The richest, most elusive, most enigmatic bachelor in Washington State just gave you his cell phone number? Yes. Anna, he likes you. No doubt about it. Her tone is emphatic. Kate, he's just trying to be nice. But even as I say the words, I know they're not true. Kristen Gray doesn't do nice. He does polite, maybe. And a small, quiet voice whispers, perhaps Kate is right. My scalp prickles at the idea that maybe, just maybe, he might like me. After all, he did say he was glad Kate didn't do the interview. I hug myself with quiet glee, rocking from side to side, entertaining the possibility that he might like me for one brief moment. Kate brings me back to the now. I don't know when we'll do the shoot. Levi, our regular photographer, can't. He's home in Idaho Falls for the weekend. He'll be pissed that he blew an opportunity to photo one of America's leading entrepreneurs. What about Jose? Great idea, you ask him, he'll do anything for you. Then call Gray and find out where he wants us. Kate is irritatingly cavalier about Jose. I think you should call him. Who, Jose? Kate scoffs. No, Gray. Anna, you're the one with the relationship. Relationship? I squeak at her, my voice rising several octaves. I barely know the guy. At least you've met him, she says bitterly, and it looks like he wants to know you better. Anna, just call him, she snaps and hangs up. She's so bossy sometimes. I frown at myself, sticking my tongue out at it. I'm just leaving a message for Jose when Paul enters the stockroom looking for sandpaper. We're kinda busy here out, Anna, he says without acrimony. Yeah, sorry, I mutter, turning to leave. So how come you know Kristen Gray? Paul's voice is unconvincingly nonchalant. I had to interview him for our student newspaper. Kate isn't well. I shrugged, trying to sound casual and doing no better than him. Kristen Gray and Clayton's, go figure, Paul snorts, amazed. He shakes his head as if to clear it. Anyway, wanna grab a drink and something this evening? Whenever he's home, he asks me on a date and I always say no. It's a ritual. I never considered it a good idea to date the boss's brother, and besides, Paul is cute in a wholesome, all-American boy next door kind of way. But he's no literary hero. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Is Gray? My subconscious asks me, her eyebrow figuratively raised. I slap her down. Don't you have a family dinner or something for your brother? That's tomorrow. Maybe some other time, Paul. I need to study it tonight. I have my finals next week. Anna, one of these days you'll say yes, he smiles, and I escape out the store floor. But I do places, Anna, not people, Jose groans. Jose, please, I beg. Clutching my cell, I pace the living area of our apartment, staring out of the window in the fading evening light. Give me that phone. Kate grabs the handset from me, tossing her silken red blonde hair over her shoulder. Listen here, Jose Rodriguez. If you want a newspaper to cover the opening of your show, you'll do the shoot for us tomorrow, capiche? Kate can be awesomely tough. Good. Anna will come back with the location and the call time. We'll see you tomorrow. She snaps my cell phone shut. Sorted. All we need to do now is to decide where and when. Call him. She holds the phone out to me. My stomach twists. Call Gray now. I scowl at her and reach into my back pocket for his business card. I take a deep, steadying breath, and with shaking fingers I dial the number. He answers on the second ring. His tone is clear, calm, and cold. Gray. Mr. Gray? It's Anastasia Steele. I don't recognize my own voice. I'm so nervous. There's a brief pause. Inside I'm quaking. Miss Steele, how nice to hear from you. His voice has changed. He's surprised, I think, and he sounds so warm. Seductive even. My breath hitches and I flush. I'm suddenly conscious that Catherine Kavanaugh is staring at me, her mouth open, and I dart into the kitchen to avoid her unwanted scrutiny. We'd like to go ahead with the photo shoot for the article. Breathe, Anna, breathe. My lungs draw again a hasty breath. Tomorrow, if that's okay. Where would be convenient for you, sir? I can almost hear a sphinx-like smile through the phone. I'm staying at the Heathman in Portland. Shall we say 9:30 tomorrow morning? Okay, we'll see you there. I'm all gushing and breathy like a child, not a grown woman who can vote and drink legally in the state of Washington. I look forward to it, Miss Steele. I visualize the wicked gleam in his gray eyes. How can he make 7 little words hold such tantalizing promise? I hang up. Kate is in the kitchen. She's staring at me with the look of complete and utter consternation on her face. Anastasia Rose Steele, you like him. Never seen you or heard you so affected by anyone before. You're actually blushing. Oh, Kate, you know I blush all the time. It's an occupational hazard with me. Don't be so ridiculous, I snap. She blinks at me with surprise. I very rarely throw my toys out of the pram, and I briefly relent. I just find him intimidating, that's all. Heathman, that figures, murders Kate. I'll give the manager a call and negotiate a space for the shoot. I'll make supper. Then I need to study. I cannot hide my irritation with her as I open one of the cupboards to make supper. Irritation. I'm restless that night, tossing and turning, dreaming of smoky gray eyes, coveralls, long legs, long fingers, and dark, unexplored places. I wake twice in the night, my heart pounding. Oh, I'm gonna look just great tomorrow with so little sleep, I scold myself. I punch my pillow and try to settle. The Heathman is humbled in the downtown heart of Portland. Its impressive brownstone edifice was completed just in time for the crash of the late 1920s. That's when I was born. Jose Travis and I are traveling in my Beetle, and Kate is in a CLK since we all can't fit in my car. Travis is Jose's friend and gopher, here to help out with the lighting. Kate has managed to acquire the use of a room with the Heathman free of charge for the morning in exchange for a credit in the article. When she explains at reception that we're here to photograph Christian Grey, CEO, we are instantly upgraded to a suite. Just a regular-sized suite, however, as apparently Mr. Grey is already occupying the largest one in the building. An over-keen marketing executive shows us up to the suite. He's terribly young and very nervous for some reason, rather. I suspect it's Kate Beauty and commanding manner that disarms him, because he's putty in the hands. The rooms are elegant, understated, and opulently furnished. It's 9, we have a half hour to set up. Kate is in full flow. Jose, I think we'll shoot against that wall. Do you agree? She doesn't wait for his reply. Travis, clear the chairs. Anna, can you ask housekeeping to bring up some refreshments and let Grey know where we are? Yes, mistress. She's so domineering. I roll my eyes but do as I'm told. Half an hour later, Christian Grey walks into our suite. Holy crap, he's wearing a white shirt open at the collar and gray flannel pants that hang from his hips. His unruly hair is still damp from a shower. My mouth goes dry looking at him. He's so freaking hot. Grey is followed into the suite by a man in his mid-30s, all buzz-cut and stubble in a sharp dark suit and tie, who stands silently in the corner. His hazel eyes match us impassively. Miss Steele, we meet again. Grey extends his hand, and I shake it, blinking rapidly. Oh my, he really is quite... wow. As I touch his hand, I'm aware that it's delicate. I'm aware of that delicious current running right through me, lighting me up, making me blush, and I'm sure my erratic breathing must be audible. Mr. Grey, this is Catherine Kavanaugh, I mutter, waving a hand toward Kate, who moves forward, looking at him squarely in the eye. The tenacious Miss Kavanaugh, how do you do? He gives her a small smile, looking genuinely amused. I trust you're feeling better? Anastasia said you were unwell last week. I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Grey. She shakes his hand firmly without the batting of an eyelid. I remind myself that Kate has been to the best private schools in Washington. Her family has money, and she's grown up confident and sure of a place in the world. Doesn't take any crap. I'm in awe of her. Thank you for taking the time to do this. She gives him a polite, professional smile. It's a pleasure, he answers, turning his gray gaze on me, and I flush again. Damn it. This is Jose Rodriguez, our photographer, I say, grinning at Jose, who smiles with affection back at me. His eyes cool when he looks from me to Grey. Mr. Grey, he nods. Mr. Rodriguez, Grey's expression changes too as he appraises Jose. Where would you like me, Grey asks him. His tone sounds vaguely threatening, but Catherine is not about to let Jose run the show. Mr. Grey, if you could sit there, please. Be careful of the lighting cables. Then we'll do a few standing, too. She directs him to a chair set up against the wall. Travis switches on the lights, momentarily blinding Grey, and mutters an apology. Then Travis and I stand back and watch as Jose proceeds to snap away. He takes several photographs handheld, asking Gray to turn this way, then that to move his arm, then put it down again. Moving to the tripod, Jose takes several more while Gray sits and poses, patiently and naturally, for about 20 minutes. My wishes come true. I can stand and admire Gray from not so afar. Twice our eyes lock and I have to tear myself away from his cloudy gaze. Enough sitting, Catherine wades in again. Standing, Mr. Gray, she asks. He stands, and Travis scurries on to remove the chair. The shutter on Jose's Nikon starts clicking again. I think we have enough, Jose announces 5 minutes later. Great, says Kate. Thank you again, Mr. Gray. She shakes his hand, and so does Jose. I look forward to reading the article, Miss Kavanaugh, murmurs Gray, and he turns to me standing by the door. Will you walk with me, Miss Steele, he asks. Sure, I say, completely thrown. I glance anxiously at Kate, who shrugs at me. I notice Jose scowling behind her. Good day to you all, says Gray as he opens the door, standing aside to allow me out first. Holy hell, what's this about? What does he want? I pause in the hotel corridor, fitching nervously as Gray emerges from the room, followed by Mr. Buzzcut in his sharp suit. I'll call you, Taylor, he murmurs to Buzzcut. Taylor wanders back down the corridor, and Gray turns his burning gray gaze to me. Crap, have I done something wrong? Wonder if you joined me for coffee this morning. My heart slams into my mouth. A date? Christian Gray is asking me on a date. He's asking if you want a coffee. Maybe he thinks you haven't woken up yet. My subconscious whines at me in a sneering mood again. I clear my throat, trying to control my nerves. I have to drive everyone home, I murmur apologetically, twisting my hands and fingers in front of me. Taylor, he calls, making me jump. Taylor, who had been retreating down the corridor, turns and heads back toward us. Are they based at the university? Gray asks, his voice soft and inquiring. I nod, too stunned to speak. Taylor can take them. He's my driver. We have a large 4x4 here, so he'll be able to take the equipment too. Mr. Gray? Taylor asks when he reaches us, giving nothing away. Please, can you drive the photographer, his assistant, and Miss Kavanaugh back home? Certainly, sir, Taylor replies. There. Now can you join me for coffee? Gray smiles as if it's a done deal. I frown at him. Mr. Gray, this really look, Taylor doesn't have to drive them home. I flash a brief look at Taylor, who remains stoically impassive. I'll swap vehicles with Kate if you give me a moment. Gray smiles a dazzling, unguarded, natural, all-teeth showing glorious smile. Oh my. And he opens the door of the suite so I can re-enter. I scoot around him to enter the room, finding Catherine deep in discussion with Jose. Anna, I think he definitely likes you, she says with no preamble whatsoever. He likes you, rather, sorry. Jose glares at me with disapproval. But I don't trust them, she adds. I raise my hand up in the hope that she'll stop talking. By some miracle she does. Kate, if you take the Beetle, can I take your car? Why? Kristen Gray just asked me to go for coffee with him. Her mouth pops open. Speechless Kate, I savor the moment. She grabs me by my arm and drags me into the bedroom that's off in the living area of the suite. Anna, there's something about him. Her tone is full of warning. He's gorgeous, I agree, but I think he's dangerous, especially to someone like you. What do you mean, someone like me? I demand, affronted. An innocent like you, Anna. You know what I mean, she says, a little irritated. I flush. Kate, it's just coffee. I'm starting my exams next week and I need to study, so I won't be long. She purses her hips as if considering my request. Finally, she fishes her car keys out of her pocket and hands them to me. I hand her mine. I'll see you later. Don't be long or I'll send out search and rescue. Thanks. I hug her. I emerge from the suite to find Christian Gray waiting, leaning up against the wall, looking like a male model in a pose with some glossy high-end magazine. Okay, let's do coffee, I murmur, flushing a beet red. He grins. After you, Miss Steele. He stands up straight, holding his hand out for me to go first. I make my way down the corridor, my knees shaky, my stomach full of butterflies, and my heart in my mouth thumping a dramatic, uneven beat. I'm gonna have coffee with Christian Gray, and I hate coffee. We walk together down the wide hotel corridor to the elevators. What should I say to him? My mind is suddenly paralyzed with apprehension. What are we going to talk about? What on earth do I have in common with him? His soft, warm voice startles me from my reverie. How long have you known Catherine Kavanaugh? Oh, easy questions for starters. Since our freshman year, she's a good friend. He replies, non-committal. What is he thinking? At the elevators, he presses the call button and the bell rings almost immediately. The doors slide open, revealing a young couple in a passionate clinch inside. Surprised and embarrassed, they jump apart, standing guiltily in every direction but ours. Gray and I step into the elevator. I'm struggling to maintain a straight face, so I gaze down at the floor and feeling my cheeks turning pink. When I peek up at Gray through my lashes, he has a hint of a smile on his lips, but it's very hard to tell. The young couple says nothing, but we travel down to the first floor in embarrassed silence. We don't even have trashy pipe music to distract us. The doors open, and much to my surprise, Gray takes my hand, clasping it with his long, cool fingers. I feel the current run through me, and my already rapid heartbeat accelerates. As he leads me out of the elevator, we can hear the suppressed giggles of the couple erupting behind us. Gray grins. "What is it about elevators?" he mutters. We close the expansive, bustling lobby of the hotel towards the entrance, but Gray avoids the revolving door, and I wonder if that's because he'd have to let go of my hand. Outside, it's a mild May Sunday. The sun is shining and the traffic is light. Gray turns left and strolls to the corner, where we stop waiting for the lights of the pedestrian crossing to change. He's still holding my hand. I'm in the street and Christian Gray is holding my hand. No one has ever held my hand. I feel giddy and I tingle all over. I attempt to smother the ridiculous grin that threatens to split my face in two. "Try to be cool, Anna," my subconscious implores me. The green man appears and we're off again. We walk 4 blocks before we can reach the Portland Coffee House, where Gray releases me to hold the door open so I can step inside. "Why don't you choose a table where I can get the drinks? What would you like?" he asks, polite as ever. "I'll have, English, breakfast tea, bag out." He raises his eyebrows. "No coffee?" "I'm not keen on coffee." He smiles. "Okay, bag out tea, sugar?" For a moment I'm stunned, thinking it's an endearment, but fortunately my subconscious kicks in with pursed lips. "No, stupid, do you take sugar?" "No, thanks." I stare down at my knotted fingers. "Anything to eat?" "No, thank you." I shake my head and he heads to the counter. I surreptitiously gaze at him from beneath my lashes as he stands in line waiting to be served. I could watch him all day. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and slim, and the way those pants hang from his hips. Oh my. Once or twice he runs his long, graceful fingers through his now dry but still disorderly hair. I'd like to do that. The thought comes unbidden into my mind and my face flames. I bite my lip and stare down at my hands again for not liking where my wayward thoughts are headed. "Penny for your thoughts." Gray is back, startling me. I go crimson. "I was just thinking about running my fingers through your hair and wondering if it would feel soft to touch." I shake my head. He's carrying a tray, which he sets down on the small, round, birch veneer table. He hands me a cup and saucer, a small teapot, and a side plate bearing a lone tea bag called Twining's English Breakfast, my favorite. He has a coffee which bears a wonderful leaf pattern imprinted in the milk. How do they do that, I wonder idly. He's also bought himself a blueberry muffin. Putting the tray aside, he sits opposite me and crosses his long legs. He looks so comfortable, so at ease with his body. I envy him. Here's me all gawky and uncoordinated, barely able to get from A to B without falling flat on my face. "Your thoughts?" he prompts me. This is my favorite tea. My voice is quiet, breathy. I simply can't believe I'm sitting opposite Christian Gray in a coffee shop in Portland. He frowns. He knows I'm hiding something. I pop the tea bag into the teapot and almost immediately fish it out again with my teaspoon. As I place the used tea bag back into the side plate, he cocks his head, gazing quizzically at me. "I like my tea black and weak," I mutter with an explanation. "I see. Is he your boyfriend?" "Whoa. What?" "Who?" "The photographer, Jose Rodriguez." I laugh, nervous but curious. What gave him that impression? "No. Jose's just a good friend of mine, that's all. Why'd you think he was my boyfriend?" "The way you smiled at him and he at you. His gray gaze holds mine. He's so unnerving. I want to look away, but I'm caught. Spellbound. He's more like family," I whisper. Gray nods slightly, seemingly satisfied with my response, and glances down at his blueberry muffin. His long fingers deftly peel back the paper. I watch, fascinated. "Do you want some?" he asks, and that amused sweet smile is back. "No thanks," I frown and stare down at my hands again. "And that boy I met yesterday at the store, he's not your boyfriend?" "No, Paul's just a friend. I told you yesterday." "Oh, this is getting silly." "Why do you ask?" "You seem nervous around men." "Holy crap, that's personal. I'm just nervous around you, Gray. I find you intimidating." I flush scarlet, but mentally pat myself on the back for my candor, and gaze at my hands again. I hear his sharp intake of breath. "You should find me intimidating," he nods. "You're very honest. Please don't look down. I'd like to see your face." Oh, I glance at him, and he gives me an encouraging but wry smile. "It gives me some sort of clue as to what you might be thinking," he breathes. "You're a mystery, Miss Steele." "Mysterious? Me?" "There's nothing mysterious about me. I think you're very self-contained," he murmurs. Am I? Wow, how am I managing that? This is bewildering. Me? Self-contained? No way. Except when you blush, of course, which is often. Just wish I knew what you were blushing about. He pops a small piece of muffin into his mouth and starts to chew it slowly, not taking his eyes off me. and as if on cue, I blush. Crap. Why do you always make such personal observations? I hadn't realized I was. Have I offended you? He sounds surprised. No, I answer truthfully. Good. But you're very high-handed, I retaliate quietly. He raises his eyebrows, and if I'm not mistaken, he flushes slightly too. I'm used to getting my own way, Anastasia, he murmurs, in all things. I don't doubt it. Why haven't you asked me to call you by your first name? I'm surprised by my audacity. Why has this conversation become so serious? This isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. I can't believe I'm feeling so antagonistic towards him. It's like he's trying to warn me off. The only people who use my given name are my family and a few close friends. That's the way I like it. Oh, he still hasn't said call me Christian. He is a control freak. There is no other explanation, and part of me is thinking that maybe it would have been better if Kate had interviewed him. Two control freaks together. Plus, of course, she's almost blonde. Well, strawberry blonde, like all the women in his office. And she's beautiful, my subconscious reminds me. I don't like the idea of Christian and Kate. I take a sip of my tea, and Gray eats another small piece of his muffin. Are you an only child, he asks. Whoa, he keeps changing direction. Yes. Tell me about your parents. Why does he want to know this? It's so dull. My mom lives in Georgia with a new husband, Bob. My stepdad lives in Montesano. Your father? My father died when I was a baby. I'm sorry, he murmurs, and a fleeting, troubled look crosses his face. I don't remember him. And your mother remarried? I snort. You could say that. He frowns at me. You're not giving much away, are you? He says dryly, rubbing his chin as if in deep thought. Neither are you. You've interviewed me once already, and I can recollect some quite probing questions then. He smirks at me. Holy shit, he's remembering the gay question. Once again, I'm mortified. In years to come, I know I'll need intensive therapy not to feel this embarrassed every time I recall that moment. I start babbling about my mother. Anything to block that memory. My mom is wonderful. She's an incurable romantic. She's currently on her fourth husband. Christian raises his eyebrows in surprise. I miss her, I continue. She has Bob now. Just hope he can keep an eye on her and pick up the pieces where her harebrained schemes don't go as planned. I smile fondly. Haven't seen my mom for so long. Christian is watching me intently, taking occasional sips of his coffee. I really shouldn't look at his mouth. It's unsettling. Those lips. Do you get along with your stepfather? Of course, I grew up with him. He's the only father I know. What's he like? Ray? He's taciturn. That's it? Gray asks, surprised. I shrug. What does this man expect, my life story? Taciturn like a stepdaughter, Gray prompts. I refrain from rolling my eyes at him. He likes soccer. European soccer especially, and bowling and fly fishing and making furniture. He's a carpenter. Ex-army. I sigh. You lived with him? Yes, my mom met husband number 3 when I was 15. I stayed with Ray. He frowns as if he doesn't understand. You didn't want to live with your mom, he asks. I blush. This is really none of your business. Husband number 3 lived in Texas. My home was in Montesano. And you know my mom was newly married. I stop. My mom never talks about husband number 3. Where's Gray going with this? This is none of his business. 2 can play at this game. Tell me about your parents, I ask. He shrugs. My dad's a lawyer, my mom's a pediatrician. They live in Seattle. Oh, he's had an affluent upbringing. And I wonder about a successful couple who adopt 3 kids. One of them turns into a beautiful man who takes on the business world and conquers it single-handed. What drove him to be that way? His folks must be proud. What do your siblings do? Elliot's in construction, and my little sister's in Paris, studying cookery under some renowned French chef. His eyes cloud with irritation. He doesn't want to talk about his family or himself. I hear Paris is lovely, I murmur. Hold on. Hey, why doesn't he want to talk about his family? Is it because he's adopted? It's beautiful. Have you been? He asks, his irritation forgotten. I never left mainland USA. Now we're back to banalities. What's he hiding? Well, would you like to go? To Paris, I squeak. This has thrown me. Who wouldn't want to go to Paris? Of course I concede, but it's England that I'd really like to visit. He cocks his head to one side, running his finger across his lower lip. Oh my. Because? I blink rapidly. Concentrate, Steele. It's the home of Shakespeare, Austen, the Bronte sisters, Thomas Hardy. I'd like to see the places that inspired those people to write such wonderful books. All this talk of literary grace reminds me what I should be studying. I glance at my watch. I'd better go. I have to study. For your exams? Yes, they start Tuesday. Where's Miss Kavanaugh's car? In the hotel parking lot. I'll walk you back. Thank you for the tea, Mr. Gray. He smiles the odd I've got a whopping big secret smile. You're welcome, Anastasia. It's my pleasure. Come, he commands, and he holds his hand out to me. I take it, bemused, and follow him out of the coffee shop. We stroll back to the hotel, and I'd like to say it's in companionable silence. He at least looks in his usual calm, collected self. As for me, I'm desperately trying to gauge how our little coffee morning has gone. Feel like I've been interviewed for a position, but I'm not sure what it is. Do you always wear jeans, he asks out of the blue? Mostly. He nods. We're back at the intersection across the road from the hotel. My mind is reeling. What an odd question. And I'm aware our time together is limited. This is it. This is it, and I've completely blown it. Perhaps he has someone. Do you have a girlfriend? I blurt out. Holy crap, I just said that out loud? His lips quirk up in a half smile, but he looks down at me. No, Anastasia, I don't do the girlfriend thing, he says softly. Oh, what does that mean? He's not gay? Or maybe he is. Crap. One second. He must have lied to me in his interview. And for the moment he's going to follow on with some explanation, some clue to his cryptic statement. But he doesn't. I have to go. I have to try to reassemble my thoughts. I have to get away from him. I walk forward and I trip, stumbling headlong into the road. Shit, Anna, Gray cries. He tugs this hand that's holding me so hard that I fall back against him just as a cyclist whips past, narrowly missing me, heading the wrong way up the one-way street. It all happens so fast. 1 minute I'm falling, the next I'm in his arms, and he's holding me tightly against his chest. I inhale his clean, vital scent. He smells of fresh laundered linen and some expensive body wash. Oh my, it's intoxicating. I inhale deeply. Are you okay? He whispers. He has one arm around me, clasping me to him, while the fingers of his other hand slowly trace my face, gently probing, examining me. His thumb brushes my lower lip, and I hear his breath hitch. He's staring into my eyes, and I hold his anxious, burning gaze for a moment, or maybe it's forever. But eventually my attention is drawn to his beautiful mouth. Oh my, and for the first time in 21 years, I want to be kissed. I want to feel his mouth on me.